What if you discovered your favorite artists were actually being used as vessels by powerful corporations? That behind their catchy hooks and colorful branding lies a system designed to influence your choices and mold your identity. This is exactly what the 2001 film Josie and the Pussycats try to warn you about. But at the time, we weren't ready to hear it. Now, 25 years later, it feels more like a confession than a comedy. Today, we're decoding the film that completely exposed the industry's strategic mechanics before the world was ready to listen. The 2001 film Josie and the Pussycats follows Josie and her band as they're scouted by a massive record label and thrust into the global spotlight. But while the group believed they had finally achieved their breakthrough, they quickly realized their dream was actually a calculated nightmare. They discovered their entire purpose was to serve as a walking billboard for major corporations. Their music and public image were engineered to transmit embedded messaging designed to influence the public into becoming passive consumers. The film reveals that the record labels maintains a close partnership with central authorities who dictate exactly which narratives the artist must broadcast. There is a pivotal scene where the label CEO holds an underground meeting with international representatives. They detail a strategy where these entities have coordinated with the music industry to embed subtle messaging within pop music. The objective is to socially engineer the youth into following a new consumer trend every single week. This builds a massive economy off the very earnings teenagers make from entry-level positions. When the band releases their debut single, the embedded messages turn it into an immediate manufactured hit. Eventually, the girls realize they're merely pawns on a corporate chessboard. The CEO attempts to erase them, but they manage to expose the operation and dismantle the broadcast system. The story ends with the agents who were a part of the operation arresting the CEO to use her as a scapegoat and hide their own involvement. While this was framed as a satirical comedy, the themes it explores are anything but a joke. Josie and the Pussycats showed us the exact blueprints of how the music industry operates, and I'm breaking down these mechanics right now. One of the most revealing moments in this film is the opening scene. It starts with a world-famous boy band arriving at an airport terminal surrounded by screaming fans. They board their private jet with a label executive and take off, but while in the air, one of the members confronts the execs about a strange backing track on their hit single that the band knew nothing about. The moment the executive realized they found out, he starts acting strange, immediately strapping on a parachute and jumping from the plane. The band members are left to fend for themselves as the plane crashes, and the label instantly starts searching for a replacement. This is when the executives discovers Josie and the Pussycats and offers them a major deal to replace the boys. This is easily one of the darkest scenes in the movie. It shows that the industry is not at all what it seems. This scene suggests that some executives are discreetly using artists to push ideas that influence the masses in order to mold them into consumers they can exploit. Not only that, but the moment an artist realizes what is happening, they are disposed of and replaced by a different group. For years, there have been rumors of this exact cycle. Big corporations using artists to influence you in ways you aren't aware of. I also find it eerie that they show the industry trying to dispose of the band using a private jet. Considering how many artists have met their end in plane crashes, that detail is chilling. This entire sequence reminds me of a scene from Under the Silver Lake where a character called the Songwriter admits he wrote all the hits in existence under the orders of powerful people to push a hidden message. I recently broke that movie down and I highly recommend you watch it after this video. Another critical moment is the secret meeting scene. Like I mentioned earlier, a record label CEO meets with a global representative to coordinate a plan to influence the masses using these artists. This instantly reminds me of the long-standing secret meeting theory in hip-hop. I'm sure many of you have heard of this alleged meeting between label executives and powerful corporations. Just like in the movie, they wanted these executives to sign artists who could push a specific lifestyle they could profit from. Rapper Ice Cube claimed in an interview that he believes he was used just like the girls in the Josie and the Pussycats. He stated that the label molded his image and crafted his lyrics and videos to push their desired message.
Let's take rap music. Let's take same people who own the prisons. It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to ensure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. Some records are made by committee, meaning record committee guys sit around and tell the artists, this is hot, say that, do this. We're going to have this guy write the lyrics. We're going to have that. So the narrative is really kind of, structured and really made into what the record company want the record to be, and what a lot of artists are frustrated with this kind of music making. A lot of people, feel like they're being controlled by the label, how they do it, telling you what songs to sing, what hooks to do, what songs, you can do your song. All right. That's an album cut, but the single is what we all say is the single. Oh, you have, the record company pushing the narrative. This to me is somewhat, some social engineering going on here to make sure those prisons stay full. Now, there's a lot of to connect to make that happen. I'm just giving you a broad example of how people at the top can manipulate what's going on with the people who are bickering and fighting.
This movie suggests that this long-standing theory isn't so far-fetched after all, and it isn't only happening within hip-hop. Finally, we have to talk about how they expose product placement. The movie sarcastically mocks the industry by using over-the-top product placement within its own scenes. The point they were making was that artists are essentially walking billboards for whichever big corporation is willing to pay. They showed the girls constantly and often unknowingly advertising products they were being ordered to promote. This movie shows us that these artists people love so much are entirely manufactured. Their entire persona is designed with the calculated purpose to mold you without you even knowing it. It also shows us when these artists become uncooperative, they make sure they can't expose anything. Josie and the Pussycats literally pulled back the curtain on how the industry manufactures the culture you think you're choosing. One of the most prophetic scenes in the movie is when we see the trend of the week wall. It's a room full of screens where corporate executives decide that Gatorade is the new Snapple or that blue is the new pink. This wasn't just a joke about fashion, it was an exposure of corporate engineering. The film shows us that cool isn't something that happens organically in the streets. It's a top-down directive decided in a boardroom. They use these artists to deliver these behavioral cues, making you believe that if you don't buy the latest product or follow the latest vibe, you're falling behind. It's a psychological loop designed to keep the youth in a state of manufactured FOMO, ensuring that the economy keeps moving at the expense of your individuality. Then, we have to address the cat ears. In the film's climax, the label forces the entire audience to wear these light-up cat ear headsets to hear the music. On the surface, it looks like harmless fan merch, but the movie reveals they're actually receivers for those covert messages. This is a powerful metaphor for how we consume media today. Think about it. The fans literally paid for the device that was being used to program them. This mirrors how we interact with modern tech and social platforms. We buy the hardware, we subscribe to the services, and we willingly put on the headsets that deliver the algorithms directly into our minds. The movie was showing us that the industry's ultimate goal isn't just to sell a CD. It's to turn the audience into a literal hive mind that can be activated for profit at any moment. When you see everyone on your feed suddenly wearing the same brand or using the same slang overnight, remember the Pussycats. It's a patterned behavior, not a coincidence. Perhaps the most chilling truth dropped in the entire film happens in the very last few minutes. After the Pussycats exposed the record label, the agents who were in on the plan didn't just disappear. They arrest the CEO to satisfy the public's need for a villain, but then they have a private conversation. They admit that the music might be losing its grip, so they decide to move their operations into a different medium. This is a massive revelation, and I believe is a direct reflection of what we see in today. Today, it seems like the artists are losing the influence, and the streamers are taking their place. And just like we see with these artists, the big corporations are now backing all the streamers. This film is essentially telling the audience, if you think you've escaped the music industry's influence, look at the screen you're watching right now. It suggests that the script is everywhere. In the music, in the blockbusters, and now even from streamers. By ending the movie this way, the creator was giving us the ultimate Easter egg. They are telling us that this very film could be propaganda in itself. For the last 25 years, we've looked back at Josie and the Pussycats as a quirky neon-colored relic of the early 2000s. But when you strip away the pop songs and the pink hair, you're left with a documented blueprint of how mass industry influence actually functions. The movie showed us that the music industry isn't just about entertainment. It's a high-level system designed to manufacture culture, mold identities, and turn the youth into a reliable consumer base for powerful conglomerates. We saw how artists are used as vessels for corporate directives. We saw how the trend of the week is a top-down decision, not an organic movement. And most importantly, we saw that the moment an operation is exposed, the people behind it don't go away. they simply pivot to a more effective medium. Josie and the Pussycats wasn't a joke. It was a case study in psychological engineering that predicted the world we live in today. Now that you've seen the blueprint, are you going to keep wearing the headset? Or are you ready to wake up and reject the programming? Now, this isn't the only movie that exposed the music industry so accurately. Like I mentioned earlier, Under the Silver Lake suggests all hits are manufactured by one songwriter.
I don't always worry what the message is, I just pass it along. I slip it between the notes, hide it away, people that know it's there.
You're saying you've done this before? Codes?
I wrote the music your dad grew up to. Half of what you sang along to as a kid, and I'm still doing it.
Telling me there's hidden messages in old pop songs?
Movies, television shows, everything you know.
Why?
That's pop culture, isn't it?
What are the tunnels for? Is there gonna be a war?
Oh, hell, I don't know. I created so many of the things that you care about. The songs that give your life purpose and joy. When you were 15 and rebelling, you were rebelling to my music. Because the real message was not meant for you. So it's better if you just smile and you dance and you enjoy the melody. Because this ugly old man, me, I am the voice of your generation. Your grandparents, your parents, and all the young people that follow you.
There was so much truth in this movie, and it's the reason you likely never heard of it. So if you want to know why Hollywood tried to erase this movie from existence, watch this video right now. Also, if you're interested in videos that go a step further in revealing the truth without the fear of censorship, consider checking out my Patreon. I just released a new video where I reveal my thoughts on the stuff happening in the world right now. Trust me when I tell you, you don't want to miss that episode. You can find my Patreon in the description, and if you want to support unfiltered content, make sure to like this video and subscribe to join the truth movement. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.